Thank you. Thank you so much. First of all, I can't believe this is Staten Island. I've been driving through Staten Island for 20 years, and I've never seen this. This is gorgeous. I'm not Russian.
Yes.
And I'm not Jewish.
Yes.
But I got to tell you, I feel completely akin with all of you fine people because I'm first generation Irish. And I tell you, 10 years ago when I was a young man, I was actually on a karate team with quite a few Russians. And they showed me some great things, and I've seen some wonderful qualities in the Russian people. And believe me, you see a person's inner strength when you're beating each other up. Trust me. So I feel deeply honored to be asked to speak here today. But the main reason I'm here is to reflect on what happened on 9/11. Now, I don't know if you people know me that well, but I was a survivor and a responder on that day. Of course, it wasn't by choice. I just happened to be there working. I'm in construction. I remember being by the window when the first plane passed by, and then a second later witnessing that awful impact and explosion, and looking at those people as they're waving outside of the ruptured end of the building, and some of them with no other choice but to jump. And I'm trying to imagine what kind of hell those people were going through where jumping 90 stories was the option as opposed to staying in that building. Now, I remember, I don't know if it was the street kid in me, my radar went off, but I just knew that this was no accident. I felt like there were dark forces at work. And I got my crew together and we ran down the steps out of that building. And at that moment, I had realized I sent the guy over to Tower 1 very early in the morning to mop up some little job we had before the white-collar crews got in. And I said to myself, I know security is telling everybody to stay put. And the fellow I sent up there was a very submissive, docile man. And he would have sat there and let the building burn down around him if he was told to do that. So I looked to my crew and I said, I can't let this happen. Please, I need some volunteers. God forbid I get hurt going up there. Thankfully, I was very familiar with the buildings. I've been working in there for 10 years, and we ran up those 38 flights, and we got him down. But when we hit the ground, I heard another noise, and I look up, and it was a plane. And for a split second, I thought it was a military plane. I was almost feeling a bit of comfort, like they were going to secure the area. And then I watched it as it made this awful turn right around Tower 2 to watch the most spectacular explosion of Tower 2. I don't know anybody that... I know that gentleman that just spoke was down there, and he knows it was like World War III. No one knew what was going on. Thankfully, me and my crew, we survived, but I had very many co-workers and one special woman who took my heart when I was 14 years old, and that was worse than both of the planes hitting at once, knowing that she was gone and they didn't recover any of her body. So the following day I went down and I worked on the bucket brigades. I thought maybe I could find her body and we could have her a proper funeral. And as I was down there, I saw something happen. Suddenly, there was no liberals, there was no conservatives, there was no Republicans or Democrats. All there was Americans, side by side, working together. We were all hurting, and we needed each other to lean on. And that's exactly what happened. And after working 10 and 12 hours a day, I remember walking along the West Side Highway, and there was no cars there. It was completely barren. They weren't allowing any vehicles. And all along the streets, all you saw were throngs of people with signs saying, "We love you," and "God bless you," and "Thank you." It was a coming together that this country and I experienced like no other point in its history. And ladies and gentlemen, I believe we need to get back to that kind of America. Because right now, more than ever, it seems like the people on the left and the people on the right are the only fringe groups making all the noise, and that's who they're paying attention to. We need to come together as one, like we did in those days and months after 9/11. And I believe we can. And it's going to be people like you and people like myself and my family. We're going to bring this country right back to where it belongs. Thank you, and God bless you.